First, I would like to thank all of you who have stood up and created this movement. This will be remembered as the most important movement in recent world history. My heartfelt and deepest gratitude go out to all of you. You are the true leaders and visionaries, unlike our current status quo leaders. Our current leaders seem to be asleep or completely ignorant of what is happening. Instead of making Vermont more independent, they seem to be making Vermont more dependent. This is the wrong course of action. In order to maintain our sovereignty, we must begin the process of detaching ourselves from the federal government. It is time to hold our leaders accountable. Governor Douglas, anybody know he was here today in his office? He didn't even come down here. What a weasel or a coward. I mean, this is the most important thing. This is the future of Vermont, and the governor didn't even come in here, and he was in his office? I didn't know that. I heard that from the guard. I mean, come on. Now, you know, Senator Sanders and Senator Leahy and Congressman Welch, they're off at the Empire, so they got an excuse probably, right? Unless they're back here, I don't know. But where are they? God, it just drives me crazy. The question is, are you willing to take a stand with us and join us, our current leaders? President-elect Obama, God bless you for thinking you can save us. However, I am afraid, sir, that there are too many holes in the bloated U.S. government ship. Not to mention it is too bulky to steer and it takes too long to change course. And we are headed for a major iceberg. Our ship is much smaller and easier to maneuver. Not to mention less complicated, which will allow any of us to take over if needed and steer our ship away from danger. This movement is not just about Vermont. This is the beginning of the movement against centralization of the world versus decentralization of the world. We must show the other states that smaller is better. All of you here today are here because we have the same values. We value our individual sovereignty. As the hip-hop group The Coup says in their song, The Stand, this is the place where I take my stand. Take my stick and draw a line in the sand. Culture is the system of shared beliefs, values, customs, behaviors, and artifacts that members of society use to cope with their world and with one another, and that are transmitted from generation to generation through learning. The future of our children and our culture is at stake. Each day, I wake up and I hug my 4-year-old daughter and my 2-year-old son. Each day, I realize that their future gets bleaker. Each day, I ask myself, how can I pass a future on to them that is sustainable? Each day, I ask myself, how can I save them from the military-industrial complex? Each day, I ask myself, how can I save them from a culture of empire? The answer is, each day I ask myself, why must we live in a culture of empire? The answer is, we don't have to. We don't have to. Look around you. Look at the small farms, small schools, small churches, and our small communities. Is it not worth saving? After having lunch recently with John McClary, one of the authors of the Vermont papers, I am certain that education in small local neighborhood schools is the key. Decentralizing will give the power back to the local communities. We want control of our local schools, for they are the foundation of local culture. The tentacles of the empire have reached deep into our communities at the heart of our culture. They have systematically dismantled our local school control. Small local schools are the bedrock of local culture. Ethan Allen once said, "The gods of the hills are not the gods of the valley." Well, I say the gods of the empire are not the gods of Vermont.